Then he saw a vision of Shiro Go in his younger form as well. Not another vision all in one night, said Jason. I am Shiro Go, Jason. Like you, I am an astronaut. You will soon face the perils of the Super Sentai universe. Beware, said Shiro. Oh, that was just a dream. My ranger days are over, said Jason. Just then strange waves began to bombard him, and he was enveloped in some strange light, making him disappear into thin air. His teammates had wondered where he went. Ah! What's going on? Said Jason, screaming in pain. In a moment, he found himself taken to Tokyo, and it was a Japanese science center where an invasion has happened. Tranza and Umbrella were busy doing their carnage. This isn't America anymore, and how am I back on Earth so soon? Said Jason. Hey, what the? I'm speaking Japanese. I never learned this language before. This is unusual. Oh God, not this. This is only going to get worse. Just then, he was cornered by Tranza. What the? Said Tranza. Somebody drops from the sky. Looks like I'll enjoy this. Not on my watch, said Jason, who began to position himself for combat with Tranza. You give me a decent challenge, said Tranza, whose fists began to counter Jason's. Just then, Jason was grabbed by Umbrella head-on while he was being beaten by Tranza. Jason tried to struggle free, but found himself in an extremely deep doo-doo. Are you serious? Well, looks like we got another one of the Science Center's volunteers. He'll make a good hostage, said Umbrella. Is this Earth or another planet? Said Jason to himself, who was trying to break free of Umbrella himself. He was punching to no avail. He could not speak loud. He was getting disturbed at the sight of civilians crying for their lives. He realized his voice was Japanese. He sounded like Shiro Go, Red 1 in Bioman. Whoa, I sound different, said Jason, in surprise of his life. An Igoroid can be seen cornering defenseless civilian, pleading to be spared. Please, we've done no wrong, said the man, pleading for his life, but he was shot. Meanwhile, in Africa of the Power Rangers universe, Trini, who is now wearing a red jacket, has been preparing to take pictures of its wildlife. She was thinking of how such a beautiful land is being prepared for a journal magazine. She stood by a cliff, watching the sunrise as she would begin another day of work. What a beautiful land the wilderness of Africa plains are. Such a serene wildlife, yet Earth suffers from too many damages from battle. I was glad I was able to fight for it. Now I can take pictures of a land my brother loved so much before he died. If you wanted Shiro and Mika from Bioman so much, why didn't you just include them instead of transplanting traits from them onto Jason and Trini for no reason? But I have to admit, I have been getting a strange dream of a much different version of the Power Rangers universe where my counterpart was a man, said Trini, who got her camera to take pictures. As she was taking pictures of the wildlife in Africa, a strange light began to envelop her like it did Jason. As she was in the space between time, she saw a vision of Mika Kozim's ghost appear right before her. What? Who are you? Asked Trini, in shock, as she was about to be taken to another world and another time. I am Mika Kozi, the first female Yellow Ranger in Super Sentai history, just as you are the first Yellow Ranger of your era, said Mika. First female Yellow Ranger, said Trini. You mean many Yellow Rangers were male before you? That's right, just as your counterpart in Zyuranger is male. To pro-act your world. Now prepare to enter the world of Super Sentai Trini. But first I must depart for the afterlife, said Mika, who disappeared right in front of Trini. Wait, what was going on? Was that a ghost I was talking to? Ah! Said Trini as she was warped into nothingness and landed in Tokyo. Trini woke up in the 2011 of another world. She was perplexed by the results of the incident. What the? I've been warped into the future. Oh no. Wait, this is crazy. I'm speaking Japanese now. Oh my god, do you really think everyone automatically speaks Japanese in the Super Sentai universe? Because...
Can you help me find this place?
I can't speak English.
Oh.
Yeah, sure. Where would you like to go?
Nani?
Oh, thank you. I'd like to go to the station.
Yeah? Go straight and turn left at the end of this road, and you'll see it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Said Trini as she sounded like the late Mika, holding her camera. She was also appalled to see that the year was 2011 when she looked at the signboard around her with a huge announcement. The news around her was not 2005. Well, my camera's fine, sighed Trini in relief, looking at it. She was suddenly surrounded by Igoroids. She was really upset and started to attack them with her martial arts. She used her camera to break them to find out her opponents were robots. Robots, said Trini. Now that explains all the heavy metal sounds. Not too easy. An intruder spotted her. Get her, said the Bastoroid. Trini can be seen trying to defend herself while running to safety. I can't hold out much longer. There's too many of them, said Trini. She was in a desperate measures as the Bastoroid also tried to blast her. The Super Sentai Alliance began to respond by going into areas where they were suspected to open holes. They spotted Jason, who was trying to break free of Umbrella. There's a civilian who needs help from us. There's some weird bat-like creature grabbing him. Could that be Umbrella? Said Takaru Shiba, who then transformed into Shinken Red.
Shinken Red. Shiba. Takeru.
Well, somebody flying has got to get him. I'll assist him, said Hoji. Impossible. Umbrella is still alive? Hoji to himself. This is crazy as ever. Well, if the Jetman's old enemy is back, there'll be a lot of villains returning, if he does have the ability to restore dead villains. Again, Radigat's not that powerful. Just then, Tranza leaped into battle to intervene. You ruined our fun. Now pay for it, said Tranza as he drew his bold Ranza, hoping to kill Shinken Red. Shinken Red drew his sword to battle Tranza, and the two engaged in a sword fight. Meanwhile, Hoji transformed into Deca Blue to assist Jason out of his predicament. Takaru Shiba was taking care of the Igoroids that began mercilessly shooting individuals. In one good shot, Deca Blue freed Jason. Shinken Red cushioned the fall. Umbrella was then knocked away. Well, we'll see each other again, Deca Rangers, said Umbrella, disappearing in thin air. Hey, thanks, said Jason, but honestly, I'm an astronaut and I'm used to the heights already myself. We're glad to be of help, said Deca Blue. A Power Ranger here? Said Jason, but they are not the Power Rangers of our world. What's going on? I think I've got a comrade in fighting evil in this new weird dimension where I speak Japanese without learning it. Just then, there were still some Igoroids left to do the dirty job together with Tranza. Let us handle this, said Shinken Red. Well, thanks a lot, but I can handle myself, said Jason. Is this guy crazy? Asked Shinken Red to himself. Jason still had his morph from Forever Red for some reason unknown. He then transformed into the first Red Ranger.
Morphin' Pop! Tyrannosaurus!
What the? A Sentai warrior from another place and time? Said Shinken Red. This is just weird. Red Ranger 1 drew his power sword to start cutting down the Igoroids one by one. Well, I guess I don't have a choice now, said Red Ranger 1. I must beat these guys or they might hurt more civilians. Deca Blue was pretty surprised at what he saw. He was shocked that somebody also had henshin powers outside Tokyo. This isn't Geki from Zyuranger. Something tells me these time holes are pretty funny. What if the Evilonians cloned them and created this guy? Geki had that suit, not this guy, whoever he is. I might be tricked with a setup by Umbrella. What if they got the archives too, said Deca Blue. The Igoroids fell down and exploded. Red Ranger 1 did his victory pose. Just then Tranza was shocked at what he saw in the middle of a sword fight between him and Shinken Red, allowing Shinken Red to win the round. Shinken Red landed a slash across Tranza's chest. We will meet again, said Tranza. You haven't seen the last of us. And we'll be ready, said Shinken Red. Red Ranger 1 reverted back to Jason as soon as the battle was over. However, both Shinken Red and Deca Blue were suspicious he could be a double agent from Umbrella himself. Well, that's that. But how do I return home, said Jason. By the way, thanks for saving me, guys. Are you a friend or enemy, said Deca Blue. Where do you come from? Deca Blue drew his badge, asking authoritative questions. I come in peace wherever this is. Look, I don't know how I got here, but it's a pretty long story. I'm glad there are Power Rangers here to protect this wherever this place is, and I'm glad to be of help, said Jason. This is Earth, said Shinken Red. I wish you can come back to headquarters with us. We need to check out who you really are. If you come peacefully, you may get yourself cleared if you are no enemy. Speaking of Power Rangers, we are not Power Rangers, whoever they are. We are not sure if he's friend or foe. Sir, looks like you need to come with us, said Deca Blue. I'll go with you, whoever you are. As for now, I have nowhere to go. I will clear myself that I am no enemy, said Jason, bowing courteously as he decided to go with them. Deca Blue and Shinken Red reverted back to their civilian identities to hold Jason, who willingly came with them. Apparently he's not much of a threat, but we can't be too sure, said Hoji. As for Trini, she discovered she was worn out regardless of how tough of a woman, and Trakina had just appeared as she was sent by Radigat as backup to test her powers. I don't think I can take this much longer, said Trini, jumped into position to battle the Igoroids, but realized she would need her superpowers to defeat them. Ah, looks like here's a meddler to deal with. You will definitely feel the power of the revived United Alliance of Evil under new leadership. We are now more evil than you think, said Trakina. Trini was tiring while fighting Trakina until both Jasmine and Sakura came to aid. Are you alright? Asked Jasmine, helping Trini up. Thanks, but I'm afraid my camera's in bad shape, said Trini, who used it earlier to bash open the masks of the Igoroids. Jasmine turned into Deca Yellow and Sakura into Boken Pink. They began beating up the Igoroids that Trini had not beaten up. The aneroid that was pursuing Trini was then blasted by Deca Yellow. Well, that takes care of that, said Deca Yellow. They turned on Trakina, who had just killed some laborers in the factory. A strange envelope of light appeared. An old man in a nice suit was riding a time railer. He was with his robot assistant with a saucer-like head. Alpha 5? Said Trini. Is that you? Yes, it's me, Trini. I'm here. Ay, 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 ay. This is a new dimension we're in, said Alpha 5. We got absorbed here as well, said the old man. Trini, believe it or not, I am actually Zordon. I followed you all the way here. I managed to survive the battle where I casted my last sacrifice. I rematerialized in this form for some reason rather than having died. Zordon? Is that impossible? How? I got told you died during the United Alliance of Evil war with the Space Rangers, said Trini. There was no time to explain right now. Believe it or not, we got your morpher back, said Zordon. Use it to defend yourself in this strange new world we got sucked into. We might as well team up with the heroes of this world to protect ours. Oh, really? Asked Trini, who was kind of doubtful whether or not she could use her powers once more. She then tested it and found herself in a modified Yellow Ranger skirt, complete with a skirt now. The bullets of the Igoroids managed to be deflected. Whoa, I'm back in business after so many years. However, my martial arts are not dulled yet. Wait, I got a skirt now. Oh well, it's time for me to fight, said Yellow Ranger 1. The very sights of Trini morphed shocked Jasmine and Sakura. What is this? Are there Super Sentai warriors from another dimension? Or is this a negative syndicate job trying to create their own Sentai warriors to kill us? I don't know. Maybe she's an alienator. She does a good job creating her own Jew Ranger costume, complete with a skirt. We might have to keep an eye on her, said Jasmine. Yellow Ranger 1 positioned herself for combat. Okay, here goes nothing. With a sharp eye, the incoming Igoroids shouted the words, Yellow Ranger action shooting! She did some rather quick moves with the special camera effects for the reader. First a frame punch, a second frame a kick, the third frame is another punch, and the fourth is a finishing punch, knocking the remaining Igoroid down and doing a victory pose after her attack. It's nice to have my suit again, said Yellow Ranger 1 as the Igoroids dropped to the ground with a new technique, which was copied from the late Mika. Again? Yellow Ranger 1 then challenged the Batzeroid as she drew her power daggers, finishing off the Batzeroid easily. That's that, said Yellow Ranger 1. Trakina was quickly in panic as her powers were not yet fully restored from her return. She was also guarded by an Igoroid. Just then Sakura and Jasmine appeared. Sakura, let's deal with this huge bug woman, said Jasmine. Sakura tried to pull a brave face as she transformed into Boken Pink, and Jasmine transformed into Deca Yellow.
4つよからぬ宇宙の悪をデカイエロー深き冒険者冒険ピンク
Get them, said Trakina, giving instructions to her Igoroid and some Grioms at her disposal. Time to clean up the trash, said Deca Yellow as she and Boken Pink blasted out the troops. The Igoroid began to enter into the scene and destroyed them.